Welcome to the Trails Committee, Southborough Trails Committee meeting today, March 23rd, calling the meeting to order at 8:01. So today's order of business is to review the bylaw. We have had legal counsel review it. We're going to step through the changes, discuss any concerns, finalize the language, and vote to move forward or to not move forward with it. And then the objective is to do this in a short amount of time so that those who have to go to work can do so, and so that we can send this to Jay Tallerman, the legal counsel, to review, to get it to the board, selectmen, and advisory. There is a crunch to get that happen, that they're having, to make that happen. They're having a joint meeting, I think it's tomorrow. So we need to get that to the committees to review as soon as possible. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Well, first I'll ask, are there any questions about what I just...
Roll call. You're going to do roll call.
Thank you. We'll do roll call attendance. When I call your name, please say that you are here. Satyendra Sharma.
Here.
Tom McCoolier.
Here.
Isabel Murphy.
Here.
Isabella Bogdansky.
Here.
And Kat McKee. Great. Are you seeing the Article 31 on my screen in Word?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So a couple things to note. We initially requested, and let the minutes reflect this, we initially requested legal review of the bylaw on December 3rd, 2021. And we again requested on March 11th, 2021. I met with Jay Tallerman, the legal counsel, on March 16th. He reviewed the bylaw and we discussed the issue, and he provided red lines on Friday, 3/18. We called the meeting as soon as we could to review the changes, which is today, 8 a.m. And that was because the earliest possible posted meeting we could provide was in this time frame. So one of the issues that we were concerned with is Article 27, being the committee, boards, and commissions operating rules, as stated, would cause a conflict for our associate members as written into the bylaw, and it is currently our charge. And we have confirmed with legal counsel that is not the case. He said that just as that article will detail what it details, but it does not preclude the Trails Committee from having a associate members position. So he said he would be saying that, he would be open to saying that on the town floor if asked. So I want to clarify for the committee that was a concern of ours. Yeah, I'll open it for questions. Okay, so Tom McCoolier, can you help me view the attendees to see if anyone raises hands for questions?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Will do.
Okay. So what we have here is a proposed, some changes from Jay Tallerman's the general counsel, and then some additional proposed changes to help tighten up the language. We've presented in front of Recreation. We've presented in front of the Southborough Public Access Committee, and let me just see, and EDC. So, and we've also presented in front of Stewardship. So with that, we had some feedback on some of the language here, and we're taking that back to the committee for review. We've also had the Southborough Open Land Foundation, the nonprofit land trust in town, reach out with some concern about clarifying which trails this bylaw refers to and asking it to be more clear. So the changes that we have here reflect those concerns. So the first one we want to do is on line 12. This bylaw establishes committee that will be responsible for trails in town, period. I'm suggesting the following change, and through licensing agreements or easements as defined below. So what that helps do is it leads them to where it says under functions, what trails we actually have purview to work on. And Jay attempted, I brought this concern to him last week, he attempted to put language in to indicate, on lines 48 and 49, on public property land that's exclusively regulated by another board, committee, or in Southborough, but that's not enough. So I'm hoping and suggesting to the committee that this additional language be inserted to make it clear, open for discussion.
Why don't you just repeat the same thing instead of referencing it below? I know other committees had an issue with it. I'm just saying, just put it up there too. Why do you say as defined below? Just,
Because if you don't really want to have language repeated multiple times in a contract, for example, because if you're editing, you have to edit it multiple places. So if you refer to it, then you're only having to edit it.
all right, then as defined below in section 3.9.36 functions, you gotta be specific where it's below.
I like it.
But besides that, that's fine.
Anyone else? Great, moving on. Okay, establishment of quorum and membership quorum and qualifications. I would like to simplify this. Initially, we had that it would be members serving no less than 3. This is causing controversy for us, and we're trying to remove controversy. So when we bring it to the town meeting and folks vote, they feel comfortable that there's not 5 red flags and maybe there's only 1 or 2 that we have to discuss. So my proposal is, since it was originally written no less than 3, we're a board of 5, we can't, quorum is 3, that we just simplify this, and we are actually matching it to article number 27, which is Mr. Hegarty is trying to standardize this across all boards, commissions, and committees, which is a great idea. I'm comfortable saying simple majority of voting members, and this language matches that article. Discussion.
Perfect.
Yep, that's
agree.
fine.
Remove red flag. Great.
So
Section-
just to state the obvious there, if there's only 3 people show up, we have a quorum.
Correct.
Go ahead. That's
And
fine.
that's always been the case. There's no change in that. We're not changing, we're just stating.
Which is fine. I'm good with that.
Great. Section 9.35B, appointment of terms. The first section I'd like to keep in, open for discussion, about voting members shall be appointed for 2 years, initial appointments be divided 1 and 2 years, associate members 1 year. I would propose that we strike the entire next paragraph, line item number 29 through 34. The reason being is if there's a committee member that's not serving their purpose, the select board has the right to remove that member if we should come forward and have the need to do so. This specific language is being stricken in another bylaw by Mr. Hegarty by article number 27, and I'm trying to remove another red flag. We are not, I'm not very tied to this article, this paragraph.
Agreed.
That's fine. If all these little individual things like this as associated to that article 27 are common across all committees.
Yep.
Remove them.
Perfect.
I mean, it's
I'm completely-
superseded. I'm fine.
Great.
Yep.
Great. The next section, so you may see Mr. Tallerman removed shall, which is a legal term. It has, you have to do it if it says shall, to may. So that softens it on a few of these. And one of those was under section
Kat,
9.35D.
Kat, where are you?
I'm on
Okay,
section
I'm
line
sorry.
42, 9.35D funding. So the committee may be provided a budget. I pushed back on this. I said, shall be provided a budget, and provided our case. He said it's a matter of policy, and it's not common for secondary boards to receive a have a budget. And I confirmed with Recreation that the budget that we've discussed, that we've been talking about for years, is going to happen this year, is as long as the budget passes as stated. So this does not remove, it does, they could give us $0, but it is not the intent of those involved in this situation. So I'm comfortable leaving it as may. We're a secondary board, it is what it is. Discussion.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
with you.
Great.
Fine.
Next, 9.36 functions. So this is language added by Jay to further clarify what we, so that it's defining the trails that we have access, that we will be working on. So public property within the town, exclusive of land that's exclusively regulated by another board, committee, or in Southborough. Find this language more acceptable. It helps define what our purview is. Any issues? Great.
No.
Great. And then he just added some other little red lines, like the may be responsible, may be charged with responsibility. Let's see, easements and such. Now I'm on line 68.
Well, hang on, 54, is that what we just talked? 50, where's 54? So we got rid of 54 to 64?
No, that's still in there. Oh, I should bring up Yeah, so yeah, that's still in there. I should bring up a concern that happened on line 52 and 53 when I presented in front of the stewardship committee. I'll read it. The committee shall promote passive recreation opportunities and educate trail users about the permitted use policies that protect the watershed, reservoir, wildlife, and environment. There was some confusion brought up about whether that means the Trails Committee would be sharing educational information about watershed, reservoir, and wildlife throughout the town, and that's not completely in our purview. I understood this sentence to read that we're supposed to educate trail users on permitted use policies that may involve those other topics. So I'm comfortable with the way it's written. How say you?
I don't like the word shall. Shall is again is we must be doing that. We must do
Yeah,
that.
we should. It is our, it is.
I want
it is-
May.
I
want-
want May.
Okay, so I want to just bring to the committee's understanding that we are in a watershed and the trails are owned by DCR and MWRA. We are required by those entities, by our licensing, by our MOUs to promote the correct policies. So after having said that, are we comfortable with shall, or would you like to push back and say may?
Then reference, the committee shall promote passive recreational opportunity. I would suggest what you just put in there. If we have an obligation from MWRA or DCR, the committee then do a shall. We have to do that for, for access to that land. If we don't have to do that, then we don't make it then we make it a may versus a shall.
Okay, so I don't understand the suggestion.
I know, what I'm saying is if we have well, I don't know if it's legal obligation from DCR for
Yep.
access to these trails to do
Yep.
this, then we
Yes.
reference that agreement.
So with the agreements are referenced above as licenses and
That's for use, but not this thing. Do we have, is it in there that we have to tell people about the reservoir, the wildlife, the watershed, and the environment?
we have
to
to tell
use-
them
Right,
about
I'm
the
with them.
permitted use policies.
All right, then isn't that above? I guess that tells
Permitted
me we
uses
have to make
being-
sure we have signs, we have educational material.
Not educational, we have to educate trail users about permitted use policies. That means we have to tell them, for example, no dogs on trails. For example.
Okay, then that's I guess this one's just so open-ended, I guess, in my mind. I'll let everybody else speak, but this one's too open-ended. I think this, if we have to do it to access DCR land, then we have to do it, and we should reference that we have to do it because of that. Not as a general practice that we have to do this. Must do this, sorry. But I'll let everybody else speak.
As
I'm in agreement
dictated
with Tom.
by
I
license.
want to know what,
What
so
about
I
that?
guess
As
I would
dictated-
like to know what,
Go ahead, sorry.
I'd like to know what the expectation is from DCR and MWRA in terms of allowing us. What is the expectation that they have of us in terms of the level of education that we're going to provide?
It's permitted use policies, education.
So instead of shall, the committee to promote passive recreation instead of shall, if that is the problem.
What was that?
Instead of writing shall, committee to promote, instead of shall, we can write that, committee to promote. That is not may or that is not shall.
To, like, right, the committee is
To promote, yeah.
is that right? Is to promote passive recreation as dictated by licenses and agreements?
No, I think shall, if you put that at the end, as dictated by licenses and agreements. Again, as dictated by licenses and agreements, we have to do it, then I think you can put the word shall.
Okay, great. How say the rest?
I thought the problem was when we were presenting with the part where the purview is the issue that we are not like doing for the whole.
Well, we're only doing
um,
permitted use policies for trail users.
For
as
every
dictated.
trail,
Only
wherever
under our
we-
purview as noted above for functionality, for functions. So only on land that we have regulated use to promote permitted uses.
where is that though?
It's already established under duty. The
Okay.
duty of the committee is to maintain trails on public property in the town exclusive of land that's regulated by others. And where else does it say that we have? By licenses and easements.
or as mentioned above, I think this kind of thing is, that's what I thought that she
Oh,
had
here.
this issue, yeah.
Line
With the-
65 and 67, the committee may be charged with responsibility for trail monitoring and maintenance obligations under any licenses agreement or easement which the town becomes a party subject to conditions of any such license.
I
So-
guess those are two similar lines then. In my mind.
This is monitoring and maintenance under is different than permitted use.
Oh, okay,
and
okay,
permitted
okay,
use.
okay,
That's
yep,
the
yep.
distinction.
All right,
Okay, are we in
good
good
point.
shape? Any other,
Isabel?
we're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
let it go.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So the others are just some red lines subject to legal. This was clarification language to make sure it was just for our trails. Then I wanted to bring us to lines 72 and 73. Originally, it was written as a way to the committee may obtain membership in organizations that promote or develop trails on behalf of the town, but except for dues or expenses covered by the committee's budget. That was really confusing. I could not defend it. So proposed alternative language, which was the purpose, is any terms and such that we can get into memberships, but any terms need to be reviewed by town council so that we're not obligating the town. So the revision is stated here, the committee may obtain membership in organizations that promote and or develop trails on behalf of the town, provided that town council reviews the membership agreement and or organization's bylaws in advance. And that provides the town protection so that the committee doesn't go off and say yes to a membership that may be detrimental to the town if the terms and conditions don't align.
That's a big to do about some kind of membership and what's in or out of the
Yeah.
budget. I mean, why is it, I guess,
We took it out of anything to do with the budget.
well,
Right.
you obtains membership in organizations to promote, I mean, why do we even have that in there, I guess? That's my
It
question.
gives us
Yeah,
the,
what are they-
so for example, there's a American Trails membership that we have participated in the past. They offer free websites, lots of educational information for trails and such. And that type of membership is a really good thing for trails.
All right, does this 72 and 73 have to be there for us to do it?
I can ask the question. I don't know.
If it
I
doesn't,
feel like,
I guess
feel
I
like
don't,
yeah,
I don't see the reason for even putting that in there. If we can do that as a committee, and if it costs money, we put into our budget, it gets approved by town meeting, we can do it.
I would still, as a committee chair, recommend that all terms and conditions be reviewed by town council. We do not have the authority to sign the town up for any membership that has terms and conditions that would conflict with, things. So that would be the only reason I, think it's wise to put it in here, because we can't obligate the town to where we can't do it, where we don't have the authority to do so. And those terms and conditions, as we all have seen, can be pretty
Okay.
detailed.
Okay.
So that's why I would advocate for it to be in. It's a bill.
Okay, I see that, I'm fine with that then, the way that you just explained it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, let it go.
Okay, great. So that's it. So I just want to make sure that the committee knows the summary that was initially provided to Mark Purple was not added to the warrant. I brought it to his attention. It's still not in the warrant. This is the summary that was initially written. So I'm going to ask for it to be
We
put
lost
back.
you. We lost
again.
you.
You
I
lost
lost
me?
you.
Lost me what?
I lost your voice.
Am I
Go
here
ahead.
now?
Okay.
Yep.
Do you hear me now? Okay, so the summary has not been put in after several times of being asked. I'm asking again that that summary be put in. This is the original summary. All articles have a summary. I'm just going to be asking to have it put in again. And noting
Okay.
that I
Thank you.
omitted it multiple times. Okay. All right, so that's it. Any other discussions, concerns, or thoughts before we take a vote?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so thank you very much for your expedient time this morning. So can someone put a motion that to vote
Yeah,
to
I will do
approve
that.
the red
I
lines
second it.
as noted,
Good.
as discussed and voted on today. Okay, great. So who did that? Who
Isabel made the motion.
Who seconded?
I made.
I did.
Great. And so now I'm going to do a roll call vote. Satyendra
Good morning,
Sharma,
Dave. How you doing?
Yes,
Isabel Murphy?
Yes.
Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Isabella Bogdansky,
Yes.
Pat McKee? Yes. So the motion passes. So I'm going to forward this to legal counsel, have him review. He may have some extra changes. I'm going to, can I get the committee to vote that if there are changes that are reasonable and minor enough in function, that I can still forward this to the advisory and board of selectmen in the interest of time. The committee will meet again tomorrow. If there are any concerns, we can address them at that meeting.
Yes.
Yes,
Make a
so you
motion.
need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that any minor changes, we've already voted and said, yes, let's go ahead.
Okay, and that if the town council makes additional changes today, that I'm authorized to send to the board of selectmen and the advisory.
Yes.
Absolutely, and also, yes,
And are you comfortable, in addition to that, comfortable with the chair of the Southborough Trails Committee presenting in front of the select board advisory and additional boards, commissions, and committees to represent the bylaw moving forward?
absolutely. Yes,
2 seconds.
A
Second.
second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Isabel Murphy,
yes,
Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Isabella Bogdansky,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Catherine McKee. Yes, great. Thank you all. Appreciate your time. So I can get a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn at 8:23 a.m. on March 23rd.
Do we have a second?
I second it. Yes,
Great.
I
Roll
second it.
call. Roll call. Isabel Murphy,
Yes,
Isabella Bogdansky,
Yes.
Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Cat McKee. Yes, great. We'll adjourn and we'll see everybody tomorrow at 5:30. Thank you so much for everything.
bye, everybody.
Everyone,
Bye.
have a good morning.
You too.